Welcome to online class organized by T.B.ERSHAD Multilateral High School on behalf of People's Republic of Bangladesh. I am Kazi Minhaj, Assistant Head Teacher, T.B.ERSHAD. Today, our lesson compound, complex, and simple. Today is my second class of simple, compound, complex. So we explain some important rules. You can see simple, compound, and complex. Today I explain some important rules about simple, compound, complex. We see simple, only one subject and one finite verb. Only one subject and one finite verb. You can see subject 1, simple sentence. We can see one subject, one finite verb, one clause. One subject, one finite verb, one clause. We can read same. What is the simple clause? Simple clause means simple sentence, principal clause, main clause, independent clause. Simple clause, principal clause, main clause, independent clause, all similar. Simple clause has one subject, one finite verb, one clause. Main clause has one subject, one finite verb, one clause. Independent clause means one subject, one verb, one finite verb, one clause. This is the principal clause. Principal clause means principal clause have one subject, of course, one finite verb. One subject, of course, one finite verb. This is principal clause. Next, complex. One main clause and one or more subordinate clause. One main clause and one or more subordinate clause. Subordinate clause has two subject, two finite verb, two clause. Here we can see principal clause plus dependent clause. Principal clause plus dependent clause. What is principal clause? Previous lecture we can see what is principal clause. That means main clause. Dependent, that is the main, that is subordinate clause. Explain subject. Another, we can think that subject 2, here subject 1, finite verb 2, here finite verb 1. This is the different simple and complex. Another example, clause, two clause, one principal, one dependent. You can see what is finite verb, what is clause. I will explain another class about, I discuss finite verb and clause. This is the main point of simple, compound and complex, clause and finite verb. I have another class. I will discuss next class. So simple, clause, simple and complex. Then dear student, next you can see compound two or more coordinate. আমরা যখন দুটো কোঅর্ডিনেটকে দুটো আলাদা স্বাধীনকে একসাথে করব, টু or more coordinate clauses, subject to, finite verb to, clause to. Subject to, finite verb to, clause to. You can see one principal, one principal, one principal clause with one principal clause combine, create sub coordinate clause. That means independent clause, independent. We explain what is independent clause. Finite verb with defined non-finite verb. Dear student, compound two or more coordinate clause. Finite verb, I'll explain next class. Clause two, principal one plus principal two. Simple, complex compound. Dear student, আমরা ফাইনাইট ভার্ব এবং নন ফাইনাইট ভার্বটা আমাদেরকে ক্লিয়ার করতে হবে, যেহেতু আমরা বেসিক কম্পাউন্ড, সিম্পল, কমপ্লেক্সের যে ধারণা সেটা আমরা একটু ক্লিয়ার করতে পারবো তো যখন আমরা ফাইনাইট ভার্ব এবং নন ফাইনাইট ভার্ব সম্পর্কে কিছু আমরা ধারণা দিতে পারবো।